Every month, 2 billion of us log on to the same social network, Instagram. Every day, we share 100 million photos and videos on it.
This is an app that has completely transformed our economy, our path to celebrity, our media world, our fashion world, our beauty world, what we do when we're online and offline.
The Instagram game is to appear more famous and more glamorous than you actually are, no matter how famous you are. And so it doesn't matter what it is you're trying to do with your life, you want to make it look perfect, more colorful, more exciting.
Everywhere, all the time. At home, on vacation, at the table.
2, 3.
And to do it, we use as many means possible.
With Instagram, now patients come in with pictures of other Instagram celebrities. Nicki Minaj, Kim Kardashian. People want to be like that.
You fix your eyebrows well, and they last all day.
I don't know if people will still like me in reality. Maybe one day people will wake up, they'll say, I can't stand her anymore, and then it's over.
The application, which is present in the phones of 8 out of 10 teenagers, can be particularly toxic.
My daughter was obsessed. She was obsessed with Instagram. All she talked about was how beautiful the girls looked on Instagram.
The company's leadership knows how to make Facebook and Instagram safer, but won't make the necessary changes because they have put their astronomical profits before people.
Instagram, the world's most downloaded app, is revolutionizing communication, standardizing our tastes, and reformatting our lives, all for its own benefit. The story of Instagram begins in California, in the heart of Silicon Valley, on the campus of the prestigious Stanford University. It was the end of the 2000s. Facebook was just a startup, and Twitter was not yet born. In San Francisco, in the tech industry, everything was still possible. 2 students, Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger, dreamed of making it big.
I met Mike Krieger and Kevin Systrom, the Instagram founders, in college, and they both struck me as incredibly ambitious. Mike as this get-anything-done designer meets engineer, and Kevin Systrom as this swashbuckling executive, someone who could manage huge teams and make great cultural events happen. He was known for throwing amazing parties at Stanford.
Kevin stands out, and Kevin also doesn't pretend to be smarter or than anybody else.
He studied abroad to Florence, where he learned how to develop photographs using real chemicals.
So that was really awesome to see that, someone who actually could speak the language of photography, building a photography app, not just trying to, do something for the sake of, making money or anything.
In 2010, during one of the mythical Apple conventions awaited worldwide, Steve Jobs announces the launch of a new revolutionary iPhone.
This is, beyond a doubt, the most precise thing, one of the most beautiful things we've ever made.
Instagram was only possible because of a slew of rapid technological changes. Both the launch of the iPhone, the improvements of the cameras.
With these one-click applications, the world was now at your fingertips. Kevin Systrom decided to create his own application, a social network dedicated to sharing photographs. He raised $500,000 from investors and launched Instagram with Mike Krieger.
I heard of Instagram on October 8, 2010, just 2 days after the app launched. I joined and immediately went to an art show, and suddenly I saw everything differently.
Instagram was the first app that really took advantage of the fact that we now had cameras in our pockets and could align our online life with our offline life.
The perfect balance of features plus social to make it a sticky, addictive application.
The earliest I remember, people were just taking pictures of their neighborhoods, taking pictures of cityscapes, of their food.
Instagram in its earliest days was very much a hipster app, taking photos of street art and what they were doing in little cafes.
When people joined Instagram for the first time, they would have a sense of, like, this is a really cool product. I see what people are doing here. I want to be part of this. I want to be one of the cool kids.
I met them for the first time at a bar around the corner from our office.
With their first round of funding, Systrom and Krieger set up shop in poorly heated offices on the San Francisco waterfront, the birthplace of Instagram and the beginning of its legend.
That night, after getting drinks, Kevin had asked if I would help them with some of the filters. I thought at the time, great, it's a nice shortcut.
The recipe, the secret of Instagram, is the filters integrated into the application that sublimate the slightest snapshot and give the square photos those faded colors recognizable at first glance.
In the beginning, the filters were intended to make our iPhone photos look better. But eventually, they taught us that anything we posted on Instagram was supposed to be more beautiful and more polished, that it was okay to curate our lives, to even fake it a little bit in order to post the right kind of Instagrammable content.
The immediate success of the platform exceeded the expectations of its creators. 3 months after its launch, Instagram already had 1 million subscribers. Celebrities quickly took to the network, which dethroned the celebrity pages of magazines. The Kardashian sisters abandoned the reality show, which had made them queens, and became the first icons of Instagram. Guided by their mother, Kris Jenner, they became billionaires.
I spoke with Kris Jenner, who is the momager of the Kardashians. And she told me that in the beginning of Instagram, a lot of A-list celebrities were not interested in using it because they thought that if they posted about their private lives on Instagram, it would make them somehow less famous because the mystery would be gone. But what Kris Jenner understood was that the more you share about your life and build that audience, the more of an affinity they build for you.
When Justin Bieber joined, people started posting stuff or asking or begging for likes and follows.
And then it went mainstream so quickly. All of his young tween followers joined the app and started to make it a place for pop culture.
At 17 years old, Justin Bieber was a global star. His first photo taken on a California highway in 2011 was so successful that it paralyzed the platform.
The app was growing too fast for their engineering staff to be able to handle. It seemed like Mike Krieger, the CTO, was growing white hairs by the day just trying to keep the servers online.
He had this alert on his phone that kept him up every time there was a problem, and he interrupted his camping trips, his trips to movie theaters, birthday parties, just to fix the app and get it back online.
Free of charge, The application was experiencing a meteoric growth. Less than a year after its launch, Instagram had 10 million users and only 8 employees. Although it was not making any profit, the startup, the digital giants, coveted the latest Silicon Valley jewel.
They had just moved to a new office maybe a month or two previously, the office in South Park. The whole time we were talking, his phone was vibrating because he was getting so many notifications. Basically, it was constant chaos.
And this tiny company, only 18 months old, eventually got a call from Mark Zuckerberg, who one of Instagram's investors described as the king of the internet at the time.
Facebook, with 1 billion users, 100 times more than Instagram, was worth $100 billion. Insatiable, its founder, Mark Zuckerberg, intended to reign over the social networks without sharing.
We were kind of an enemy. We were growing quickly, and it was probably scary to them. And of course, it was better to have your enemy, bring your enemies closer, and so buying Instagram.
Facebook was built for desktop computers. It was busy and bloated with way too many features. It was complicated to use, and it didn't have a great mobile app. But on Instagram, it was simple and sleek. It was designed for you to be using on a phone specifically.
Kevin Systrom didn't really want to sell Instagram, but Mark Zuckerberg had a special kind of promise he made, which was that if Instagram joined Facebook, Kevin and Mike Krieger would remain the founders, remain the visionaries.
And Mark Zuckerberg's signature move for acquisitions was to take founders on these long walks where he would describe his vision for a future where they collaborated, but also the future of whether they became competitors and how Facebook's endless resources and reach would crush its competitor.
On Sunday, Kevin Systrom signed to sell his app for $1 billion. All of the headlines said that it was an incredible misuse of money.
This is the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley. Instagram has become a popular way to share the photos they take. The application has millions of users, and yesterday, Instagram was snapped up by Facebook for $1 billion.
The idea that this app, with only 25 million users, no revenue to speak of, and 13 employees, could be worth $1 billion was just unimaginable to others in the tech market.
Mark Zuckerberg could see the way that people were falling in love with Instagram. He knew there was a shift coming from text to media, and Instagram was going to be the driver of that shift.
When Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger told their employees that they were being acquired by Facebook, people were horrified. The Facebook product was nothing like the Instagram product. It was crowded, it was full of push notifications, it was, in some cases, predatory of user data.
When I got the call that Facebook had acquired Instagram, I was taking my laundry in down the street, and I luckily had my laptop with me. I sprinted down the street to the nearest coffee shop, threw open my laptop, and started typing as fast as I could. 4 minutes later, I had published a story about the acquisition.
We started to meet people at Facebook. It was surreal because of things like Mark Zuckerberg coming by the garage, sort of awkwardly trying to say hi and welcome us, but it's Mark, so he's not always the most warm person. The rest of the team at Facebook didn't really know what to make of us because we were the first company that they acquired where they were actually not going to just kill our product.
they weren't making money yet. You knew that they were just burning tons of money. And so when Facebook made its announcement that it was acquiring Instagram, it made sense. They would actually be able to apply the same Facebook ad targeting model and ad business to Instagram.
Months after its acquisition by Facebook, the day the network crossed 150 million users, Mark Zuckerberg imposed advertising on Instagram to make his acquisition profitable. Initially, only one advertiser and one ad per day. A luxury watch from designer Michael Kors set everything in motion.
Instagram was very cautious about adding advertisements. They knew it could annoy the user base. And so Kevin Systrom actually individually vetted and approved every advertisement being added to the app.
The way that the ad thing was sort of sold to the employees at first was, this is going to be like a luxury magazine, like Vogue magazine.
And you started to see the rise of the Instagram aesthetic, this perfectly manicured type of photograph that almost looked like it was from a professional ad campaign. And I think the more that the feed of Instagram looked like that perfectly manicured aesthetic, the less authentic it felt.
Brands started to recognize that they could go pay for an advertisement in a magazine or pay for an advertisement on a website, or they could simply go to this person who had this really captive audience and have them talk about their product. That's how influencer marketing was born. And then the demand rose, more people became Instagram famous, and then it became something people strived for.
Influencer marketing and sponsored content arrived on Instagram. People were getting paid to do product placement or talk about a certain brand or say they went and stayed at a specific hotel or went to a specific restaurant.
Instagram invented a new model. The user became the brand ambassador. They sell their influence to their community of followers. A digital wheel of fortune with many called, but very few chosen. Only a handful of influencers in the world reach the million subscriber mark, 4 out of 100,000.
The influencer market is divided into many levels, depending on their degree of influence. Typically, we have the huge influencers who are mostly celebrities, who have up to several tens of millions of subscribers to their accounts. Then you have your lower levels of influencers, which we'll call macro influencers, who will be at a million or several million subscriber level. Then you're going to have the micro influencers who are going to have about 10,000 to 100,000 subscribers. That's about 1,000, 2,000, sometimes 5,000 euros per post. And then you'll have the nano influencers who can even go down to less than 1,000 subscribers and who will be paid in kind with products, services, goodies, sometimes even just promo codes. So you've got all these people, but even an influencer who will do just a few contracts, you can't live on that. Most of them have a side job.
Once influencer marketing arrived on Instagram, it became much more self-glorifying.
Well, the story had a few bugs, but here it is. My little shirt dress is from ASOS. I put on my little Yves Saint Laurent bag, my little couple boots, and here it is. The jewels are from ASOS, all three.
That has also really changed Instagram and made it feel kind of like a mall, where we're always getting sold products and we don't actually know the incentives behind the people that are telling us what they recommend.
But soon enough, Instagram scaled up advertising and more trashy stuff started to appear. Low quality, scammy products.
You have people who say, that they are doing something on behalf of a brand, and you'll talk to the brand and they'll say, I've never heard of that person. It's kind of the Wild West. There are no regulations.
In Instagram, there is still an initial obligation to stage oneself normally, like everyone else. We take selfies, etc. This is the phase of ordinary Instagram usage. But little by little, you realize that if you want to gain an audience, attract people, make your correspondents react, well, you have to stage yourself and perfect this staging. You tell a story in a certain way, you make people believe that you're living an extraordinary life, which, of course, tends to happen in Dubai, the Seychelles, or elsewhere, rather than in French working-class towns. But the fact remains that it's this style that will attract attention and will be repeated.
Barely 20 years old, some influencers are being propelled to the head of ephemeral, ready-to-wear collections. Cheap and disposable fashion for teenagers, fast fashion designed to seduce the Instagram audience.
Let's have a look.
The movement's good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good.
The influencer now has the power. They are no longer content simply promoting a product.
Yeah, let's do a more dynamic one. Maybe at the beginning?
They design it, name it, and distribute it to their hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
I like that.
Sure. Yeah, whenever you want to, go ahead. All right, then. So would this one work for you?
Maybe pull the shirt a little tighter so there's not too much.
Or work on it a little more. Fold. So we're going to steam the top, all right? And, yeah, you can do the video first.
One of the first brands I worked with was Don't Call Me Jennifer, so it's a ready-to-wear brand. And we created a collection of clothes together, so it was the My Adorable collection. And actually, I'm totally free to do what I want. If I want to make a bag, 3 t-shirts, and 10 pants, I can. The development of specific products is a way for influencers to generate royalties, income. They would be wrong to deprive themselves of this if the brands are willing to pay. But here again, this is a quintessentially disposable product. The product that will make a buzz at a given moment and that will be replaced by another collaboration of another influencer with another brand.
Exposed, shared, liked, the bodies of influencers flood the network to saturation and impose a new model copied millions of times over. The quest for digital validation feeds a permanent beauty and popularity contest arbitrated by 2 billion jurors.
There became this overall effect of everyone striving to have some slice of Instagram fame. And in order to do that, they were listening to the metrics that they received. They were listening to the comments they got in every post, the followers, the likes, the feedback that taught them, okay, cleavage does better than covering up.
Obviously, we see that Instagram today offers mostly images that are soft porn. This standardization of bodies, normalized to the extreme.
Nicolas Kaiser-Brill, journalist and member of the NGO Algorithm Watch, investigated Instagram's algorithm.
We did an investigation into Instagram's algorithm. We found that photos of men and women in swimsuits were shown much more frequently than photos of landscapes or food. There is clearly this Instagram body, which is a body between 20 and 30 years old, often naked, but within the terms of use of Facebook and Instagram. For women not to show nipples, though everything else is allowed, and according to our research, encouraged. There is very clearly a big problem with misogyny for Zuckerberg, and for that matter in the whole universe of engineers who create and maintain the algorithms of Instagram and Facebook. There is misogyny there that is very well documented by researchers.
Sophie Vigier is the director of one of the leading French tech schools. Her role, to defend the place of women in the digital sector.
This environment is usually made up of young people, teenagers who obviously have difficulties with others, particularly with the opposite sex. We see it in the geek fantasy. We see it's actually women that are hypersexualized, always with huge breasts, and there's even a kind of violence.
One of the first projects of Mark Zuckerberg, the boss of Facebook and Instagram, was a site to rank the female students of his university.
The fact that there is only one part of humanity, in this case white, cisgender, upper-class men who create the tools obviously leads to bias. If it's only men who work, or at least a large majority of men who work at Instagram, on the algorithms that allow access and selection of the more valued profiles, obviously we're going to have their eyes and their biases.
The engineer's obsession with these hypersexualized bodies is not without effect on the users, who are subjected to this constant need for standardization.
And that created a lot of problems for mental health for people as envy and jealousy spiraled out of control, and it increased levels of body dysmorphia. People felt like they were uncomfortable in their own skin, or that they weren't famous enough or rich enough to live an exciting life.
So if you don't have a Kardashian-esque body, there are ways to get one. And we've seen a huge rise in the amount of surgeries known as Brazilian butt lifts. These are incredibly dangerous surgeries, but they sound great. It's a surgery that takes the fat out of your stomach and puts it in your butt so you get more of that pear shape.
Miami seems to have been designed for Instagram, a city dedicated to the cult of the body, the world capital of plastic surgery. Each year, 20,000 women come here for a Brazilian butt lift, a $100 million jackpot for the city's clinics.
What do we have today, Val?
Today, we have a BAM followed by a BBL tummy tuck, breast lift with implants, lipo of the jaw submental area, and the last case is gonna be another BAM, tummy tuck, and lipo of the lower back.
It's gonna be a great day.
It's gonna be amazing.
Maybe the best day ever, Barry.
Probably.
Maybe the best day ever. Very good.
What do we have today, Val?
Today, we have a BAM followed by a BBL tummy tuck, breast lift with implants.
Before social media, before Instagram, I was just a hardworking dad doing surgery. People in Miami knew who I was, of course, but my reputation was not much farther outside of Miami, the greater South Florida area. With Instagram, it really propelled my practice and my brand and my reach to a global audience. If I travel anywhere in the world, anywhere in the world, people stop me and say, "You're Dr. Miami."
Awesome.
Thanks, man. You're the best. All right. You're welcome. So right now in Miami, the most popular surgery remains the Brazilian butt lift, where we take fat from the areas of the body you don't want it and put it in the booty to reshape a woman's figure.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the operating room. Happy Tuesday. It's a wonderful day. We're going to be doing a body lift, breast lift with implants, and a tummy tuck. Come follow me as I transform this wonderful woman's body. With Instagram, now patients come in with pictures of other Instagram celebrities. Nicki Minaj, Kim Kardashian. They're very famous on Instagram because of their bodies, the way they look, their workout, whatever it is. People want to be like that.
Getting Kim Kardashian's rear end under Dr. Miami's scalpel costs $13,000. 2 journalists have been investigating a series of suspicious deaths at clinics in the area. On Instagram, many unscrupulous surgeons are offering surgeries at bargain prices.
In Florida, anyone can open a cosmetic surgery clinic with $10,000 or $20,000. No one needs a special license. No one needs to be a surgeon or even have a license. These people buy advertising space on Instagram or Facebook. They post photos or videos of each of the operations. Some clinics even operate 24 hours. The U.S. Association of Cosmetic Surgeons has determined that the buttock lift is 20 times more deadly than any other plastic surgery procedure.
My daughter was obsessed. She was obsessed with Instagram. All she talked about was how beautiful the girls looked on Instagram of these women that have had the Brazilian butt lift, which is the BBL. She always called it the BBL.
Let me tell you, I'm a doctor myself. I'm an internist nephrologist. I knew about her plans to get the operation when about 24 hours before. So I planned to dissuade her from getting it.
I know it started with the Kardashians. That's where she started looking into the sisters of the Kardashians. She loved the results, how they came out beautiful, looking almost like those Coca-Cola bottles.
My daughter was called that morning that she could pick her up. But 5 minutes later, we got a call that she had had a respiratory arrest. When we found out about the circumstances, we realized that these guys who were supposed to use what we call sonographic monitoring of the operation, they didn't do it.
There are doctors who perform such dangerous and delicate operations, even though they have only studied in class on weekends. A weekend for a procedure that requires 6 to 8 years of study.
This surgeon was supposed to take 3 to 3.5 hours to operate my granddaughter. He considered that he took only 1 hour because the other bunch of girls were waiting. $10,000 each.
That one thing that I don't agree is these women that are flaunting themselves and showing their bodies and thinking that it's a good thing when it's not a good thing. You know, this is not natural. I believe that if it wasn't for social media, my daughter would be alive. That's what I believe. I believe that that if it wasn't for that, she would still be here, unfortunately. So I do blame it. I do blame social media.
In 2018, Instagram crossed the billion-user mark and generated $8 billion in ad revenue, a third of Facebook's revenue. 8 years after its creation, the hedonistic and arty app designed by Krieger and Systrom is a distant memory. Mark Zuckerberg has opened the floodgates to mass advertising on the networks. Instagram has become Facebook's cash machine. At the group's headquarters, war was declared between Zuckerberg and the founders who felt betrayed.
Mark Zuckerberg had a reason to try and gain more control over Instagram, and it's because he wanted to create the world's biggest network.
This broken promise of autonomy is what led to tension between Mark Zuckerberg and the Instagram founders.
It was contentious the whole time, let's be honest. One of the most significant and important brands in the world that's ever been created, it almost like, in a sense, just sort of spitting on their work and not really respecting what they had built.
In 2018, Krieger and Systrom jumped ship. Mark Zuckerberg was now totally free. He took the opportunity to privately imagine the launch of a version of Instagram dedicated to the under-13s, who were previously banned from the platform, Insta Kids. In October 2021, a whistleblower and former Facebook engineer, via the Wall Street Journal, revealed that the group had conducted a study on the relationship of teenagers to the app, the alarming results of which were knowingly concealed from the public. A global scandal that tainted the social network whose representative was questioned by the U.S. Senate.
This research is a bombshell. It is powerful, gripping, riveting evidence that Facebook knows the harmful effects of its site on children and that it has concealed those facts and findings. So I ask you to commit that you will make full disclosure, all of the thousands of pages of documents.
Well, I know that Senator, thank you. I know that we have released a number of the reports, and we are looking to find ways to release more of this research. I want to be clear that this research is not a bombshell. It's not causal research.
For teens, Instagram is worse than a popularity contest in a high school cafeteria because everyone can immediately see who's the most popular or who's the least popular. Instagram is that first childhood cigarette. Facebook is just like big tobacco, pushing a product that they know is harmful to the health of young people, pushing it to them early, also Facebook can make money.
Pure product of Silicon Valley, Frances Haugen, former model engineer of Facebook, testified against her ex-employer.
The company's leadership knows how to make Facebook and Instagram safer, but won't make the necessary changes because they have put their astronomical profits before people.
I think InstaKids is really the ultimate degree, if you will, of immortality. That is, you can't pretend to capture the attention of kids that way. We already know that they tend to do that. The problem is rather to slow down and avoid them being immediately subjected to this. On one hand, to this attentional rhythm, and on the other hand, to this dictatorship of styles that are staged on Instagram. And as a result, we have little girls, especially little girls, obviously, who will already become bimbos to correspond to models.
Faced with the controversy, Mark Zuckerberg ended up putting the InstaKids project on hold. But a global event, as sudden as it was unpredictable, boosted the network's audience. In March 2020, the COVID pandemic forced half of humanity to lock themselves up at home and take refuge behind their screens, to the great benefit of Instagram.
The COVID pandemic hit Instagram hard because so many of the life events that we used to enjoy taking photographs of, we couldn't do anymore.
We have become so much more reliant on social media as a means of keeping in touch with the people in our lives. And Instagram was a huge beneficiary of that during COVID.
Instagram has been growing tremendously in the past few years. Its ad revenue has grown from $9 billion in 2019 to nearly $18 billion in what is estimated for 2021.
The entertainment economy had to find a different place to share with their audience. And a lot of people picked Instagram. DJs were spinning sets, comedians were performing, John Legend was playing piano with Chrissy Teigen sitting on it. This was a place where people could go to have the kind of mass entertainment events that they were missing out on because of COVID.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have any requests, Christy?
Well, I had to wear a towel.
Chrissy, her wardrobe was requested by the audience, and it was a towel.
I let you guys pick.
Oh, and she has a headband on.
I do have a turban.
Headband of the day. It's the headband of the day. Push your locks away.
And instead, we saw Instagram move towards a post-Instagram aesthetic, was more about candid shots, or what we call planned, where you plan a candid shot.
Happy Sunday, everybody. It's super early for me. You know, I've been shooting a video for the past 2 days, and I should be sleeping right now, but...
You'll see a lot more sharing of emotion and sharing of hardship. Post-COVID, we have become a little bit more willing to talk about our feelings on the app.
We must not lose sight of the fact that social networks in general, Instagram and all the others, have been a tremendous vehicle of emancipation for many, many people who did not have visibility in the pre-internet world. Racial minorities, sexual minorities.
The severity of the pandemic highlighted the emptiness of Instagram, which had become too futile, too commercial, and sometimes obscene. An update then occurred. Activists supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, women's rights, LGBT inclusion, and other struggles took over the network.
It's so easy for people to share a message that they find somewhere else. They don't have to type anything out in their own words. They don't even have to fully understand a concept for them to take a screenshot and post it to their Instagram story.
Every week in Manhattan, in the heart of Greenwich Village, at Stonewall, a historic site for the LGBT struggle, demonstrators pay tribute to Black, gay, and trans victims of police violence.
If transgender people only stayed indoors, where society would not see our debauchery, we would still be killed. If only what we were to be chameleons and change our skin, would that somehow evade us?
I migrated from Cairo, Egypt. I moved here in 2008 due to persecution and torture that happens to me in Egypt.
The police are terrorists.
My freedom, it was just being visible. So I kept my life around parties, dancing, doing performances. It was really eating me. Like I did not really focus on the thing that it mattered. And when the COVID hit, I think the whole world, they were on Instagram, and every day I'm hearing, oh, this transgender, they find her dead. And then George Floyd happens. I watched it, I went insane.
George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd!
I went out in the street, started joining that movement, and I was like, I need to do something about it. On the Middle East, this is the people that they cannot be able to walk on the street and be themselves. The only social media they have is Instagram. And the only thing they can connect with me on Instagram. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, my baby. How are you?
I'm good.
Well, I want to tell you something about your sister, Ritaj. She got her humanitarian visa.
Oui.
This is confirmed from the Ministry of Interior. So she.
So she will come here in Paris? In Paris directly?
Yes, with all the torture that she's been enduring back in Yemen, that will. That I think she's gonna have a major trauma. We're gonna make sure that she's gonna be in Paris so she can be next to you, so you can take care of her.
Sure.
Because Rita just needs some treatment. Somebody contacted me from Saudi Arabia and told me about a girl, her name Ritaj.
I was threatened by the police and also by my family, who reported me to the police. That day, I had saved pictures of myself on my mobile phone with makeup and nice clothes. They took me to the police station, and as soon as I arrived, they beat me with handcuffs and broke my tooth. They always tortured me with handcuffs and grilled me like a piece of meat. It was through Instagram that I found Iman. It was our only way to communicate. Through Instagram, my life began to integrate with Iman's.
They will ask you the following question: what was the last city you lived in before leaving Yemen? You can answer, I left the city of Sana'a and went to the city of Aden to take the airplane.
The moment I contacted her, I was able to get her out from Yemen and to put her in a safer country.
Welcome. My dear, look at you. See, how long have we been talking on Instagram? Maybe a year?
We never imagined that we would meet face to face one day.
No, never.
In this day and age, anything is possible. Nothing is set in stone.
"12 years after its creation on the shores of the Pacific, 10 years after its acquisition by Facebook, The application imagined by Systrom and Krieger remains surprisingly sensitive to the world's turmoil, a dream that continues to be defended even to the House of Congress by a former employee who still believes in the promises of Instagram's founders.
I believe in the potential of Facebook. We can have social media we enjoy that connects us without tearing apart our democracy, putting our children in danger, and sowing ethnic violence around the world. We can do better.